Here's a line drawing I did yesterday. I took a photo of it at this stage, and I've just printed off a copy a bit larger than what I drew yesterday. And I thought we'd focus on the sketch marker side of this. And I've posted this line drawing on my community page. There's a link in the description to it. If you want to print off this line drawing and just work on a bit of marker practice using this exact same drawing, then you can you have my permission to do that. So I'm using an N0. N is for neutral grey colour in the Copic range. And I got a little away and I thought this one's just getting to be a little bit dry and the N's getting to be a little bit floppy. So I swap in a moment and swap this for another N0 that I have. I like to have two at least of every pen like this that I have, every marker I have. And that way, between the two of them, I can usually continue a drawing uninterruptedly. So I'm going to use the first 5 values, N0 to N4 in this. I think the important thing when you buy markers is to have a range of values. And so if availability or budget is tight, I would do something like N0, N2, N4. So, or possibly N1, N3, and N4. So it's very helpful though to have this paint chart, this color chart, as I think of it, available as well. But it's not so much the value that we use as the relative difference between the values that we put on. Another important thing is for whatever particular brand you use for sketch markers is to be aware that when they go on, they do dry. And with Copics, they dry lighter than when the ink is wet. So that's also important to appreciate as well. That means that if you put some of one marker over the top of the same marker, it will look different color when you put it on, but it will dry to the same color. Now, I started with an N0 to do the left-hand side and across the roadway. And now I've switched to an N1 and I'm darkening up some parts, particularly the lower part, because there is bouncing light. And even though the left side of the roadway, the buildings are in shade, there's more light higher up because there's light bouncing from the other side of the road. And so it's nice to try and capture that feel. The important thing to remember is that that shade and shadow are different things, and that shadow is darker than shade. So if you look at that section on the left that comes out halfway, and you'll notice the lower half diagonally is in shadow, the building that it's a part of is cast in a shadow. Notice how that shadow is darker than the shaded part immediately to the left. Also notice that that shadow is a cool grey, whereas the shaded darkness is a warm one. If you look at the building on the left-hand side, you'll notice that the entire wall is a warm grey in the shade. Look across the road and look at the shadow that's being cast from the left-hand side, and you'll see that it's a cool, even though it's darker. We're not talking of the lightness or darkness of the value. We're talking about the color, the underlying color being warm or cool. And it's also a cool one. So shade is warm, shadow is darker and cooler. So we want to reflect that in our pen choices. Now at the moment, I think I'm using an N3, but on this section that I'm doing just now, I actually go over it with an N4 shortly. I deliberately left the car at this stage. I haven't put anything on the car because the car's right in the front. It's a light color. It's going to be quite important. I need to mostly have it in shadow, but I want to have those lighter highlights because I think the car's going to be very important for a bit of visual interest, basically. The other thing that's going to just lighten the feel a bit of all this shade and shadow is the pedestrian crossings. So I also want to make sure that I leave the relative difference between the white strips and the roadway surface, the value of the roadway surface. And so now I'm doing some of these cornices. Now, there's already a fair bit of ink on the page on this right-hand side, and so I'm fairly restrained with using the marker because I really want that contrast between white and dark. One thing I haven't done, which I could have done, is I could have used a value, a relatively dark one, for the sky. If you were to take the colour out of this colour photo and make it black and white, the sky would actually be quite dark. And that would make the sunlit parts look even more sunlit, look brighter. So that's something that's worth experimenting with. So now I'm just darkening some of these areas. The other thing I don't want to do is to have too much mid-value at the end. I don't want to have too much that's the same, maybe, N2-ish kind of value. I want to have some lighter parts. I want to have some darker parts. And I want to have some light and dark parts close to each other. It's also important to do that for just creating a bit of visual pizzazz, I think. I hope you've cottoned on to what I'm doing. Before I start to put the pen on the paper, I just hold it up to show you which marker it is. And so you can see that I'm often starting conservatively and then becoming a little more daring in darkening values I've already put on, but I now start to make them a bit darker. Now, this would be fairly extravagant in ink if we were doing large drawings a lot. But when we're doing small ones, I find it's a great way to learn about the particular brand of markers that you're using and the way the values look in relation to each other. And also just the relative values. So look, here with this car, I'm just now adding some darker sections. I've decided it needs to be a bit darker. It is actually completely shadowed, overshadowed by the buildings on the left-hand side. So I don't want to have too much that's too light, but I do want to have a little bit of sparkle of light. So, this is where you can just at the very end go a bit too light. But remember that the lighter parts will also be made to look even lighter if we make the darkest parts look darker. And while I am using my reference very closely with this car to see which parts of the car body are the darkest parts, in the end, I'll make the decisions based on how my car is looking in my drawing relative to the immediate parts of the scene that are around it. So I'm darkening the roadway again a bit. And where the car shadows onto the crossing, I still want to maintain the relative difference between the white strip and the roadway. So now going just a little bit darker on the parts of the car body that are a little bit darker in my reference. You're watching this half as fast again. So this is 1.5 times my drawing speed. So you can, if you want, use the cog icon to drop it back to actual drawing speed. So this marker section took me less than 20 minutes to do in real time. It took me a little bit longer than normal because I was trying to remember to show you which pens I was using. And just some of the rigmarole when videoing slows you down a bit. But having some markers such as these on hand doing location sketching is a really great way to really get a sense of 3 dimensions. Hatching, you know, I really enjoy hatching. I like the effect. If you haven't seen my hatching playlist, if cross-hatching and hatching is a problem for you, I have some great videos, I think, on that. I think hatching is a great tool to develop, great technique as an artist, drawing artist. But it can take time to do well, particularly to get dark scenes looking adequately dark. So these are a really fast way to really make our line work, our fine liner work, jump out. It's all about now looking at this and thinking, are there enough contrasts in terms of the reference, but then also in terms of to make an interesting drawing. So darker values come forward. They feel closer than further ones. And so that's another thing. We do need to juggle things in terms of distance. And that's why on the right-hand side, you'll notice I've got, for the wall, I've got N4 for the closest dark shadow and N3 for that same shadow a little bit further back, because our perception of a darker value will increase, will lighten as it goes further back. So these are all the things we need to be thinking of and manipulating in our mind. What do you think? Would you like to have a go? If so, follow the link in the description below and you can print off a copy of this line drawing, and I'll also attach to that the color reference if you want to use that as well. You can see I've decided that there was a bit much white, and so I've got my N0 and I'm just knocking back that white, and I'm aware that the N0 will dry lighter than how it looks when you first put it on. It can be a bit nerve-wracking while that's happening. You can see already how some of that first bit I put on has lightened. And so notice that that car just sits a little brighter and feels a little more three-dimensional, which is good since it's right at the front. G'day, I'm Stephen Travers. Hope you found this helpful. I really hope you have a go drawing it. Why not? But in the end, whatever you draw, however it turns out, make sure you have fun. I'll see you next time. Bye.